All right. Hi, gang. We're going to take a quick tour of Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. It's the 9 intelligences that we have in our textbook. Basically, I am going to run through each one of these 9 and tell you what careers are associated with the characteristics that you will see up on the screen. So for verbal intelligence. This is someone who's word smart. This is someone who would be a good author. This is someone who would be an interpreter. This is someone who would be the speech writer. Their gift is with words. Mathematical, logic smart. This is someone who uses numbers, logic, like computer programmers, like accountants, like anyone in the engineering fields. If they don't use this information right, things break, and usually in horrible ways. Spatial, these are picture learners. People who are good with understanding things through pictures are also people who are good at being architects, drawing out those plans. These are people who are good artists, where they paint something and it looks like what it's supposed to be. These are also certain athletes who are required to figure out where their person should be in relation to everything else on the field, in relation to everything else moving through the air. It's a sight thing. Body kinesthetic. This is someone who uses their body to solve problems. Again, the athlete comes into play, but now it's not about figuring out where they are on the field. This is about figuring out what they need to do with their body in order to make things happen. These are people who are dancers. These are people who are gymnasts. These are people who love the hands-on careers, who like building, construction, people who like working in laboratories, mixing stuff, separating stuff, making the magic in the lab happen. That's body kinesthetic. Musical, this is all about auditory issues. It's all about listening. So those students who you see in class come in, they never take a note, but they sit there listening and then they kick butt on all the assignments. They're musical learners. They're very strong in musical intelligence. So anyone who's good at listening, again, interpreters would have to be really good with sound, with musical intelligence, in order to understand what's being said in one language and be able to verbally communicate in another language. People who are into music, whether it be producing the music, whether it be actually creating the music, whether it be singing, anything that involves auditory input, that is a musical intelligence. Interpersonal. This is learning by connecting to other people. These are people who are really good at schmoozing, such as politicians, such as used car salesmen, such as really anyone in a leadership position who can get other people to agree with them and move towards a goal. That's someone very strong in interpersonal. And if you're watching this and you realize you learn best by talking through problems with other people, by talking through assignments with other people, you're interpersonal. As opposed to someone who's intrapersonal, who's very much aware of what's happening internally. So this would be a student who works best on their own, where they're able to focus on what they're thinking. So anyone who is aware of what's happening internally, spiritual and religious leaders, even psychologists, because they have to be aware of what's happening internally in them, as well as figuring out what's happening internally in someone else. So you need the two sides there. And the naturalist. This is someone connected to the environment. People who are farmers, good farmers, who can read the weather. They're naturalists. People who work well with NCON, the Environmental Conservation Agency, taking care of animals, breeding animals, anything like that, working with the natural world around us. And they can do it, pick it up. Not a problem, that's a naturalist. Now, the Existentialist, of all of the 9, this is the newest. This is where you contemplate yourself in connection to the rest of the universe. People in this category would be those astrophysicists who are trying to find the source of the universe. In here, you would have the philosophers that consider, well, what's my role, not just in my community, but what's my role in the entire plan of the universe with all the other planets? It's beyond just being aware of what's happening internally. It's about the connection of everything in the known universe and the unknown universe. So, in these, some will explain you, some won't explain you in terms of how you adapt and solve problems. But Dardner said you're going to be strong in some, you're going to be weak in others, and everyone is different. So, thanks. Bye.